XYZ. 30,000 businesses we've already assisted on that hotline. We will continue to assist them, and we want to make sure that you have what you need. But we have to say it again. The crisis is in need of a federal stimulus. We need federal support. Small businesses in this city cannot make it without the federal government stepping in on the financial side and helping them. And we'll do all we can. But as the mayor said, we need the federal government to step up.
The next is Dana from the New York Times.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. The city had a story yesterday about the size of the First Lady's staff and how 6 of her staffers are listed on the books of other agencies. Can you speak to the propriety of that?
Sure. I think that article to account the work that's being done. So this work is about the needs of the people of this city, especially in this crisis. What First Lady's focus on now? Mental health, as always, but the mental health crisis is now much deeper because of the coronavirus across the whole city, particularly in communities of color, particularly for children. And it's very, very important that we provide a lot of support to young people as we go into the new school year. So that's one of the things that she's been working on intensely, but also as the co-chair of the internal task force, this extraordinary task force of leaders of color within this administration, the task force on racial inclusion and equity, that has been moving big policy changes literally with the purpose of redistributing resources to communities that are most affected, 27 neighborhoods most deeply affected. That work spans almost every city agency. So people are working with her constantly who are parts of other agencies because the work involves agencies all through the city government.
Thank you. And secondarily, as far as the potential for 22,000 layoffs, have you determined whether those potential layoffs will in any way impact your or the First Lady's staff?
Oh, unquestionably. There will be layoffs at City Hall. There's no question about it. For my staff, her staff, everyone. There's going to be layoffs. There's going to be a huge fiscal impact on every agency of the city government. And again, our job is to work together to try and avert it, because the last thing we want to do in the middle of an economic crisis is lay off a bunch of people and not provide as much service. And you think about all of our agencies, what that would mean for the city, how it set us back. So, I don't have a lot of hope right now for a stimulus. We'll keep fighting for one before the point that layoffs would happen. Maybe, there'll be a surprise here, a good surprise from Washington. But I think the more likely possibilities to avert layoffs are to focus on long-term borrowing in Albany, where I think there's more and more recognition that long-term borrowing is a necessary solution. And obviously working with labor to find savings, and a lot of our labor partners are working with us intensely on that.
The next is Sean from the Daily News.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I was wondering if you and Dr. Varma could clarify the use of the term cluster. For what it's worth, while during the conversation this morning, in Google coronavirus cluster definition, one of the first things that comes up is a paper on the CDC website that says we define a cluster as greater than or equal to 5 cases. So I don't know if this definition, if there's a universal definition, if it's case by case. Can you just speak to that, please?
Sure. It's a great question, Sean. I'll start as the layman, and Dr. Varma will be your expert. I just say at the beginning that one of the things I've noticed throughout the coronavirus crisis, I think Dr. Varma will affirm this, we've talked about it many times, is there's not the kind of ideal, consistent national, international definitions here that we would like in many ways, because coronavirus, and there's very different interpretations in different places. But I want to say here, just on a common sense level, a cluster is when we have a bigger and more sustained problem. Remember, testing is such a valuable, crucial part of the equation, but it's always somewhat arbitrary because it depends on who got tested on any given day. And that's not ubiquitous. That's not, we don't have a situation, as you've seen in a few places, where there's been near universal testing. There is a certain arbitrariness. What we look for is, do we see a sustained problem, and particularly do we see a problem that relates to a specific source that is a bigger problem, not a few cases, but something more bigger and more sustained. And that, thank God, so far is not what we're seeing in the case of Sunset Park, what we're seeing in the case of Sunset Park to date. is more isolated to individual households, where the spread was just within the household, not in the larger community. So that's my preface. Now, Dr. Varma, you can give a more erudite answer.
Yeah, I think the answer is that different groups and different public health agencies use these terms differently. I think, as the mayor has noted, really what we try to use the term cluster when we're referring both to a specific number of cases that we think is concerning, combined with a link to some specific event or exposure that they have in common. So what we're seeing in, for example, in Sunset Park, and what we've been seeing, for example, in Borough Park, is an increase in the number of cases above what we would expect, but we can't link it right now to a single common exposure.
Got it. Switching gears a bit to baseball. Al Sharpton is calling for the Mets to be sold to J-Lo and A-Rod, saying the sale represents a significant opportunity for Major League Baseball to take a strong public stand in favor of racial equity. Would you join Reverend Al on that call?
Yeah, I would actually, and I'll tell you something. Sean, you know something about my baseball history, so I don't come into this as someone instantly connected to A-Rod, to say the least, but I respect him. I mean, he's one of the greatest players of all time, obviously. I think it's true that all of our sports, including Major League Baseball, have to do a better job encouraging ownership by people of color, leadership positions for people of color, more people of color managers. This is a profound problem in baseball and in all American sports. I think the way you change that is one team at a time. So if a very important franchise like the New York Mets ended up being led by a people of color ownership group, I actually think that would be very good for the baseball and very good for this country. And I also want to say I admire A-Rod's achievements, and I'm glad he's working on this, but I want to speak about Jennifer Lopez. I mean, this is a true New York City icon. She, I'm astounded when you think about what she's achieved and talk about someone who just came from the grassroots, humble origins in the Bronx, has reached the highest heights on sheer hard work, and still remembers where she came from and is very devoted to New York City and the Bronx. I would like to see more team owners who are truly devoted to their communities. So yeah, I actually think it would be good for New York City and good for baseball.
We have time for two more today. The next is Julia Marsh from The Post.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Mayor. Just following up on the earlier question about the First Lady's staff, could you address why at least 6 of the 14 members were not officially listed as some of her staff members and were deputized from other agencies? It seems like that was an effort to make it seem like she had a smaller team than she actually does.
Again, the nature of her work, Julia, is, I want to put this in perspective. The First Lady does the work she does every single day for the people of this city. She loves this city. She wants to help people. She doesn't get paid a dime. She believes that addressing the mental health crisis is one of the most profound missions that we need to address here in the city. It's gone swept under the rug for so many years. She, I think, really deserves tremendous credit for bringing the issues of mental health to the fore. But from the beginning, the idea was it had to be work done in every single agency. There are mental health issues that every agency of the city government needs to address. And I mean, you can list it immediately. The Department of Education, police, correction, social services, homeless services, health department, health and hospitals. It's really across the whole administration. And then when you talk about the task force, it's literally every agency. It's representation of leaders of color from veritably every agency with the common purpose of moving and changing policies right now. It's a lot of work that has to move very quickly, and it's work that reaches into every agency. So it makes sense that people who are parts of other agencies are part of that work. Go ahead.
Okay, and then one more on that. She had a senior advisor who was hired at $150,000 a year in April, which is after you announced the hiring freeze. So was there a carve-out made for her staff?
Keegan or Keenan?
The whole idea here is that we have been moving a couple pieces obviously directly related to this crisis. The internal task force was created in the context of the coronavirus crisis. The mental health work is being expanded as a result of the coronavirus crisis. So it's different from Test and Trace Corps, but I'll give the obvious parallel. An area where there is not a hiring freeze is the Test and Trace Corps. An area where there's not a hiring freeze is anything related to what the Department of Health or Health and Hospitals are doing as part of the coronavirus response. That's where we make an obvious exception because of what we're dealing with right now.
Last question for today is Yoav from the city.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. Just one follow-up question on the First Lady staffing. The issue isn't that people who are employed by city agencies are contributing work toward Ms. McCrae's portfolio. It's a matter of people who work for her full-time, who are dedicated solely to her portfolio, being placed on agency payrolls and therefore not being included in her office's head count. So what we're asking here is why there isn't greater transparency regarding the First Lady's staffing levels.
Again, Yoav, you can ask it any different way. I'll keep saying the same thing. The portfolio reaches across all agencies and has to do with issues that are foundational to addressing the crisis we're facing. It is exactly what it is. People from different agencies working in common cause to address this crisis. And as I said, everybody in this government needs to understand that this is the priority. And that's where we're going to put our energy. Go ahead.
On the gyms and the indoor fitness centers, I've been speaking to people in those industries, and they're wondering what the metrics need to look like in order for you to be comfortable to open them up. Because as things stand, there's just a message from City Hall that it's a dynamic situation. We're going to keep an eye on things, but in their minds, the city has really done everything it can. The people of the city. Today's 0.24% positive rate is a good example. So, are there specific metrics that the coronavirus numbers need to meet in order for you to decide to open them up, or what more needs to be done by the industry to make you comfortable?
I appreciate the question. I want to make sure there's not a misunderstanding here because I spoke to this on New York One on Monday evening. The governor, the state, has put out a vision. I haven't seen the final wording of the executive order, but certainly the press the press release gave a lot of the details.
Was the entertainment report?
And to the credit of the state, we had a lot of conversation between the city and state on this. They deferred to the city on a number of key decisions. But the bottom line was you could open them on September 24th or September 2nd. We said September 2nd for the obvious reasons of the inspections, that this is exactly when we're in the middle of doing a huge number of Department of Health inspections with child care centers and schools. That's our priority right now. So we're choosing a later date, and we're certainly going to continue to prioritize child care centers and schools for inspection, and then as those are completed, turn the attention of the department over to the gyms. So with a variety of restrictions in place from the state, and we will have our own restrictions, they will be opening up, but we want to do it in a very careful, safe manner, because this is one of the areas where if we don't get it right, we could see a resurgence, so we're working out of an abundance of caution. Okay. So, everyone, as I close up today, I just want to say this. I gave you a number earlier today, 0.24%, and that number will change tomorrow and the next day and the next day. No one ever should rest on a laurel and read too much into one indicator, but just even to see the possibility that we could get that low, that all this hard work is paying off. Because remember, if you keep fighting that disease back, getting that number lower and lower, then more and more can open up and people can live better and better, and we can really restart New York City fully. this is an example of what New Yorkers do. New Yorkers are the greatest comeback artists in the history of the world. New Yorkers always come back. We have been down so many times before and counted out so many times before, but New Yorkers always come back. But we will not come back the same. We don't want to come back the same. And that's what's crucial here. The values of the city, historic values, and the values that are being expressed right now, the deep desire and the rightful desire for change. We are not going to repeat the inequalities of the past. That's just a bottom line here. You can come back and do better. You can come back without simply replacing the same reality that wasn't working well enough. So this is what I want to emphasize. What New York has done the last few months is going to be written in the history books as one of the most extraordinary examples of a whole people coming together in common cause. Now let's continue that work in the name of fairness and equality. Let's continue that work in the name of ensuring that every community gets the same opportunity. That is a New York City value. Thank you, everyone.
I want to thank the mayor, even though he didn't answer any question. I think it's an important question for New York City. We need more attorneys to help people to study that. So maybe I'll answer it, and I'll wait for an answer. And you can email me. Answer? Yeah. I want to read A Passage to India by E.M. Forster. Is that a good book? I think that might be a good book. And F. Scott Fitzgerald. I think in F. Scott Fitzgerald and then the Brontes. So we're still in our 1800s. And then Grey's Anatomy, The Grapes of Wrath I want to reread. The Boxcar Children, reread Bronte. Reread the Homer. But we're going to read that Iliad maybe next year. So with Shakespeare, we can read one Shakespeare maybe next year. Should we read Shakespeare? Julius Caesar? Isn't that an interesting play? And Othello. And A Midsummer's Night's Dream. And there are editions at bookends. There are editions that translate the sentences for Shakespeare. Because it's hard to read Shakespeare because it's written in Old English. UK English. Old UK English. Maybe Wuthering Heights. Is that a sad book? Why do I remember Wuthering Heights being a different type of book than the movie? The Red Badge of Courage was a good book. Oliver Twist was good. A Tale of Two Cities. I remember, I have to reread that. Crime and Punishment. Maybe an interesting book about crime. If you're interested in reading crime to learn how to stop crime. Or if you just like people solving crimes. Madame Bovary. Anyone read that one? The Scarlet Letter. I like that book. And I like Henrik Ibsen. And I've yet to read Moby Dick. Is it a good book about a whale? They say it's really not about the whale. But that was on the summer reading list I didn't want to read. I read more of Toni Morrison books than I did Moby Dick and others. So everyone, write a book. A fiction story, because we need more African American authors. Right? At this HBCU month is next month. And no, Michael Jordan, I didn't remove you from my script. He may be my father, I don't know. The identity of my father, which is interesting. If you don't know the identity, we are the people that don't know the identity of our father. We are those people. Yay! So, anyway. What am I thinking right now? Oh, so HBCUs, let me take this off of my screen before someone. Oh, didn't want to show that one. talk about what I want to talk about today. I'm going to talk about Wilmington, North Carolina, and Indianapolis. Indianapolis, I'm talking about it because Mr. Simon, CEO of the Simon Property Group, the Simon Property Group is based in Indianapolis. No? So let's talk about that. So let's talk about my script. I didn't plan on filming right now. I wanted to film a little later after I did everything I wanted to do, but let's just film. Let's talk about Mayor de Blasio's BNYC. So Advancing Black Entrepreneurship. Did y'all read that? It's BNYC. Advancing New York City's Accelerator. The image in the background is by my uncle, and that's my mother, my beautiful mother. Isn't she hot? My mom is really hot. I call her pretty, petite, hot mama. And that's a photo of an image, and it's on stone. And that is from some store somewhere. I don't know the artist. And let's talk about Brave New World. I thought about reading Brave New World. I do like science fiction. I like a lot of science fiction. Nice science fiction. Nothing scary or violent. I want to say violent. I think this woman, National Black Business Month. So I thank her. I think her name is Dayla. And she talked about what she talked about. So I'm going to talk about what she talked about after maybe tomorrow. But she's an entrepreneur. I couldn't quite get the spelling of her company. I think it was Wexner. But they talked about BENYC, Advancing Black Entrepreneurship. Ernst & Young is helping with BENYC, MasterCard, and Goldman Sachs. And so thank the Mayor de Blasio of New York City and everyone that spoke today for Mayor de Blasio. I want to talk about FEI today. So I have to get my script on Google Drive. So Google Drive, give me security. So my script. Let's see my script. Today is the 19th and I have a script. So these are people that are letting me use their name. Let's talk about Grubhub Brooklyn. Brooklyn in a house without a doubt. Is not what I wanted to say. I just want to say Brooklyn's in the house. Alright, so then Annabelle. Who's Annabelle? I don't know Annabelle. Oh, that was Sunset Park. Oh, so she was talking about Sunset Park and health. And maybe the need for more physicians in Sunset Park? No? Is there a need for more physicians? Anyone want to go to Sunset Park and be a physician? Any physicians? So let's talk about the DNC. So I wrote down that we like Miss Biden's dress. I thought it was a nice color, a nice green, a leaf green, almost not mallard duck green, a leaf green. That was a beautiful dress. And what did I want to say about what she said? Let's say she said nice. So let's talk about our script. So this is Stephanie. I love reading books. Michael Jordan Steakhouse are in the states of Illinois, Connecticut, and Washington. And the steakhouse in Illinois is not in a casino. On my website, IntelligentLuxuryMagazine.com, there are links to Mr. Michael Jordan's restaurant's websites and a link to Mr. Bob Johnson's Mercedes-Benz automobile dealership website in Alabama. And a link to a website with his hotel portfolio, RLJ Lodging Trust. Michael Jordan owns the Michael Jordan Golf Course Grove 23 by invitation only. And Michael Jordan promotes the Jordan brand on Nike.com. Michael Jordan owns the Michael Jordan Team 23 Nissan automobile dealership. I believe they sell apparel. And he also sponsors the Novant Health Michael Jordan's Family Clinic. No S on Jordan. And this information is on my website, IntelligentLuxuryMagazine.com. So you have U.S. Food Chef Store on 3304 Eastway Drive in Charlotte, North Carolina. Further information about Mercedes-Benz is available at www.mercedes-benz.com. And that's for everyone at Engagement 101 with www.yourengagement101.com. So I have to write that there. I didn't want to say that company right now. But I love that company. Do I? Oh, Lord. So, anyway, yourengagement101.com. yourengagement101.com. I was a host on Engagement 101 TV the first season. So, she can put me in the video if she wants to. Sometimes she takes me out, puts me in. You can still hear me talk, but you can't see me. Everyone wants to see me, right? Alright. So, now let's talk about my notes. Where are my notes? Let's talk about my Google Drive. So my computer is a little older, which is fine, and a little slower. So just, alright, please visit themetmuseum.org for more information about the Met Museum. Today I'm wearing a Walmart dress. I'm wearing Chinese laundry sandals. So that's what then I'm wearing this from somewhere. It's a black-owned business. And these earrings are my mother's earrings. Ha ha ha. And I put in my bracelet. Thank you everyone at Pandora for giving me this bracelet and my bison ring. Yeah, I did not attend Howard. And we support Howard. Oh, we support HBC. Okay? So, then let me stay on this. So let's talk about our schools. Running for president? Who's running for president? Would I run for president? I should. I should take the bus to the election office and run for president. I bet you didn't know that. I would. If someone crazy would. I would. I'm joking. I'm not an attorney. I think I would want to be an attorney before I became president, even though the current president is not an attorney. I think I need to know more about all these laws before I ran for president. Yet, maybe the president, I'm sure he knows more about law than I, and wanted to run president, and is doing well. He had HBCU presidents on there and gave them money. Thought that was good. So, of course, I love affordable housing in suburbs that is clean, free of vermin, safe, and owned by good people. So, let's talk about Marriott. Let's talk about Virginia. Let's talk about the Commonwealth of Virginia. So I'm still waiting for my emails because So let's talk about Virginia. Commonwealth of Virginia, Office of Governor Ralph S. Northam. Virginia takes historic steps to secure a clean energy future. So I took off my glasses because I don't want you all reading anything that you shouldn't read in the reflection of my glasses, my eyeglasses. So Governor Ralph Northam today celebrated Virginia's once-in-a-generation progress on clean energy by ceremonially, this was when he signed it, not today, a historic legislation that accelerates the Commonwealth's transition to a carbon-free future. So I think that's great. He said, Governor Northam said, we are at a pivotal moment to secure an affordable clean energy future in Virginia. Together, these pieces of legislation put the Commonwealth in the position to meet the urgency bad things. Well, you might think people might think you're depressed for doing war, right? Or accidentally put you on a list and hire someone from the war to pretend to get break news. So this is I don't know. You're crazy, you're phony. I say corporate America because what if you even try to ignore or you're polite, then they accuse you of being phony. So just be phony. Is that good advice? I don't know. Don't take advice. I'm just joking. I'm gonna ask someone about being phony to people who really don't like it. But let's talk about the Great American Outdoors Act. When we're at the Great American Outdoors Act, it'll be happy. I love my mother. My mother would tell me, let's go to the Great American Outdoors. Let's drive, Mom, across the USA. Mom, retire. We're going to retire and write about it and be on video and have fun with good people. Good people making good videos. Me. And that is Mr. Feel. Oh, who? Mr. Feel Good is an Aerosmith song. Don't we love music? And that's why I love VH1 Save the Music. Hello, people. All the publicists at VH1. Great publicists. Who are nice to me. I'm only sexually attracted to men, and that is the fashion. That's the trend. I'm only sexually attracted to men. That's a classic trend. For me, I support the rights for LGBTQ to be them, and I love people who love me being me. Sexually attracted to men. Right, Kobe? Right. So, and good morning, Kobe is so nice. He had a fake funeral for me. Because African Americans go to funerals because it's funny to celebrate and make fun of the dead person. So when we go to the funeral, everyone makes jokes about the dead person. Like if he was an angry guy, if he was a pimp. And then we laugh. And we laugh because we're saddened about pimps and that we might be secretly happy that they're deceased. Some African Americans don't do that, but I think it's a part of a culture. So let me know, people, if you think that's part of a culture. If you want to be sad at a funeral and jump in the grave, people at African American funerals say, do you want to go in the grave? So don't be sad at African American funerals. So I think that's part of our culture. So I thought of, and I sending proposals to people that you don't know. It's really important to do criminal background checks. So that's interesting. Even if your parents or friends knew them and were afraid to tell you that they were a criminal. So, in that case, I don't know, but I thought of comedians being hired at funerals. That's what I thought of. And I know people show video, but videotaping the funeral and having a real video show is something that I like people to. And having just great funeral homes. Like funeral homes in Harlem. And funeral homes, African American funeral homes who wear top hats and nice suits. I think that's fun. So let's read this Great American Outdoors Act. I wanted to say from senior administration officials, the president signed into law the Great American Outdoors Act. And I read that Mr. Trump donated salary to parks because it's Great American Outdoors and parks are safe places to be. They usually have no scary animals at parks, and you're able to bicycle, walk, exercise, listen to headphones, listen to music on your headphones. It's a really great place to be. So that's great. So y'all, I'm still editing my book. And I put my unedited book up there, so I was like, why not? All of you, it's alright. I put an unedited copy of my book up, and it's false. I actually put real copy and someone hacked it. So the police are investigating. But what do you do, security, if you know the few bad police, because there's so many good police, stalk you? If you're in the entertainment industry for whatever reason, who do you contact? Internal Affairs? What if Internal Affairs stalk you? So, oh, this show is great. This fashion. Do you see these things on the Style Spotlight? I didn't want to say Style Spotlight. Of style? This is a great show. So now I have to watch CNBC. I really want to watch CNBC. I hope they have the African American and Latino hosts on more than 1 hour. Ah. It's great. It's great. They are on. I know that Mr. Ford is on usually in the afternoon after this show, and the Latino American, I believe. I pray that he was on more hours. He's on a little earlier, and I like watching really early in the morning the international business news, and they have CNBC Africa. So I need to relearn my finance vocabulary. Like I said, I just want to know the percentage I should put in mutual funds and then the percentage I should put into bonds and stock, which percentage of my income. So I guess it's based on my income or how much I need to save. I'm someone that really needs to save a lot more than others. I may not have had a pension at my company. Are companies required to have a pension? I don't think so. But maybe they should be required to have some type of pension. And Social Security, they already tell you how much they're going to give me in Social Security after I retire, and I think I need more. You can need more. So let's laugh at that. So Amazon is hiring. Whole Foods, that's good. So we like Whole Foods. So John Hardy, beautiful jewelry, thank you for letting me interview you when I worked for Engagement 101 magazine at engagement101.com. I interviewed him his fault. I didn't interview him. I'm sorry, I didn't interview him. Please remember, I had my own company prior to working at a magazine, which probably helped me. Because a lot of writers have their own company and work for different publications. So, 3 p.m. Mr. Ari Kudlow, National Economic Council Director. Oh, so now the TGX conference call. Let's try to listen to that. Did I miss the conference call? I have a long show tonight, so you don't have to watch the entire show. You can watch it on, I'll be putting my yesterday's show on YouTube and today's show on YouTube. I'm starting a couple of technical difficulties. So y'all, it's all right. People understand that we're not CNN, we're blogging, and it's great. It's understandable. So what do you do in corporate America when people heckle you? You just have to sometimes give them a fake smile and tell them, and then say, no, it's not fake. It's fake. It's not fake. And that's what I do. And they'll never know it's fake. I don't know if that's good. I just give them a fake smile. Why would you tell people that it's fake? It's got to be nice to people because they pay your bills and you don't want to be homeless. Right? I understand this story. I'm just joking. These are my jokes. I'm just so happy that God is everywhere. More people. Let's be all good people. Let's talk about today. Let's talk about TGX. Great place to buy clothes from fashion designers, great fashion designers at a discount. Affordable about price. So let's talk about these TJ. You may not be able to listen to the phone call. Do they have the audio of the phone call? Let's talk about the TJX. TJX Companies is the leading off-price, they say, retailer of apparel and home fashions in the U.S. Hey, how you doing? And worldwide. As of August 1st, 2020, the end of the company's second quarter, the company operated a total of 4,557 stores in 9 countries: the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Germany, Poland, Austria, the Netherlands, and Australia, and 4 e-commerce sites. So these include 1,000 TJ Maxx stores, over 1,000 Marshall stores, and 800 home goods stores. So then you have the 46 Sierra stores and HomeSense stores. So this is a company that you can invest in. So they had a conference call today at 11 a.m. My alert just went on right now. So this is fun. So thank you, Mr. Herman, CEO and President of TJX, for holding that conference. And maybe I'll be able to get part of that later. But let's talk about their forward-looking statements. So I don't know if it's a good company, but if you shop at TJ Maxx, why not be a shareholder? So if you like it, if not, no. So the TJX Companies Incorporated reports the quarter 2 of FY21 results. FY21? 21? What's that? So we open stores and it's alright. And e-commerce sites around the world report second quarter sales of $8.7 billion, well above the internal plans, and generated a significant cash flow during the quarter. It reopened more than 4,500 stores worldwide and each of its online shopping websites. So it reported a Q2 FY21 of net sales of $6.7 billion, well above its internal plans. And it paid off the $1 billion drew down from its revolving credit facilities in March 2020. Thank you, TJX, TJ Maxx. Political ads. So I wanted to know about political ads and the Democratic National Convention. Right. It's good to have my own company. I'm the editor. Keeps them busy, keeps them watching someone else's show if they like another show. Watch my show. I know y'all like my show, right? Good people on the show. So let's let's talk about president. I'm waiting for someone to resend me my White House correspondent information. That's great. I didn't want to say that actually. Lawsuit. So it's night 3 of the Democratic National Convention, and they're talking about 3 issues. Gun safety. I'm against guns for regular people. And climate. So this is great. So right now I'm filming on Facebook Live. The Vice President is going to deliver remarks today on Joe Biden's failure, Mr. Joe Biden's, Senator Joe Biden's failure to put American workers first. So I plan to travel to Delaware and talk about scenic train rides for the weekend and during the day, not during commuter hours. I was actually considering moving to Delaware, into the nice parts of Delaware, just because they're pretty nice, or going to Delaware Beach. So the Vice President is traveling today, and that's great. So I like Joe Biden. I don't think that, how do I know if he has a failure to put American workers first? Oh, I love it. So today I'm wearing not L'Oreal. I think I'm wearing a stick from Weatherman. So I have dark skin around my eyes, beautiful dark skin, and it just gets a little oily. So I'm not seeing that. I don't have people putting makeup on for me. So it's a little fine, and I'll fix it when I'm able to fix it. Isn't that great? I am still cute. So I'd like to thank the President, President Trump, and Vice President Pence. So I love watching CNBC. It's really fun. And I like the Fast Money Halftime Report. Remember GoldmanSachs.com? Remember to apply to Temple University if you're a good person at temple.edu. Remember, new open street restaurant locations. So there are locations 3rd Avenue, Alexander Ave, and Buckner Boulevard in the Bronx, at East 134th Street in the Bronx, and Park Slope, 5th Avenue, BID, 5th Avenue, Sterling Place, to Berkeley Place in Brooklyn. In Manhattan, there are open streets in Chinatown, on Bayard Street, from Mott to Mulberry Street. And you have the 34th Street Partnership on 32nd Street, uh, pardon me, on 32nd Street from 6th Avenue to Broadway, and the Broadway from, and, and Broadway from 32nd Street to 31st Street. So that's near 34th Street. That's a great area, right near Madison Square Garden and Penn Station. So you can take Penn Station, beautiful station. You can take Amtrak to Penn Station. That's near 34th Street, and go to the open streets there. You could take New Jersey Transit, Amtrak, and the LIRR to Penn Station in Newark. Don't go to Newark Penn Station accidentally unless you want to go to Newark Penn Station. Beautiful station too. So let's talk about August 20th. Thursday, August 20th. At 7 p.m., the City of New York will host a virtual community meeting to inform residents on how they can buy property in the city and about properties that will be for sale at the upcoming auction. Let's look at my notes from last night about Dr. Biden. So I saw hello everyone in Mariana Islands, and they're casting their vote. That was funny, because they're not sick. Oh, so we talked about Biden, and I like to trust. And that I liked her dress. That's what I liked. So also I was watching, I watched the basketball game. So I was thinking of how Microsoft game. I was thinking about Microsoft while I was watching the games, and they're in the playoffs. So it was great to see that game. So that's what I watched. Sorry, Miss Biden. I heard the Democratic Convention pays people. No, I'm joking. What? I didn't want to say that at all. That's not really my humor. I have a new humor, but that was never my humor. So that's great. So I watched, and I had to say that. Yeah. So I have a quote from the show, from Biden. And I'm waiting. So I kind of drew a dress. I liked her dress. I wasn't trying to figure anything. I liked the buttons. I liked the shoulders. And that's it. Ooh, this is really fun. So let's talk about upenn.edu, unc.edu, and harvard.edu. So that's fun. I'm writing an article again about African American courses, and I will write about Princeton. So that's what I was writing while I was watching the Democratic National Convention. So we'll talk about more what she said after the convention. They're literally like hypnotizing me not to read my quote. Let's talk about today. Let's talk about fun things. So, you know what's fun? Gossip is fun? No, not really. It's false gossip. So let's talk about right now. The King Academy. So, in the Hispanic Caucus meeting. I like that Dr. Biden teaches at community college. Did I mean to say that? So, I read about fashion, and that's what I want to talk about. I like the quote. But it was really late for me, and I'm not CNN, I'm not MSB, NBC, and that's fine with that. I was kind of just watching it, and I couldn't take notes. I had to get ready for bed. So I'll get that quote to you later once they send me my notes. I don't know if you can watch what she said online. You know what? Criminals are really smart. And if they love reading and they do all this read to hack, why not read to do good things?
For our bravery, our commitment, and our hard work. So while we take pride in all of that, at the same time, we know that we are saddened by the way that so many members of our community have been treated. And when we think of the numbers of our population that are in prisons, how many of them are, live in indecent housing, that they have to work in low-income jobs. When we think of farm workers, now throughout this pandemic, throughout the United States of America, there were farm workers in Texas and in many other states that do not have unemployment insurance, disability insurance. They do not have full workers' compensation. These are essential workers.
Just have a fake smile sometimes.
So, yeah, we can take pride in what we have done, but at the same time, we are saddened by the discrimination that we have faced in our country for so many years. And more recently, with all of the attacks against our community by we know who, the person that we say we have to remove, and that is President Trump. But you know what? He has totally underestimated our community, because now, yes, we contributed a lot to build our country, but now, you know what? We have to save our country. Think about that. We have to think of how we are going to save the soul of our country. This has been stated so many times during the 2 days of this convention. And guess who can do that? We are the ones that can do it, because we have done it before. Like we did it in World War II, when we were out there fighting on the front lines of the battlefields. Well, this is also a battlefield that we're in right now, because we have to eliminate so many of the wrongs against our community, not only the insults and the attacks that have been bestowed against us, but we have other things that we have to think about too. In addition to the lack of health care for so many of our community here, the Latino community, we also have to think of the income inequality.
And Kristen Walker. Who I met once. I don't know her very well. I always say I don't know. When I say I don't know someone, I just say I don't know them. It means I don't know them very well. So today is going to be a longer show, because I'm going to talk about 2 places, Wilmington, North Carolina, and you can watch it later. So if you have to leave, watch it at another time, and that's on that. So I'm making like a 4-hour radio show just to help me study about cities, because I like writing about statistics and using the uscensus.gov. So I'm Stephanie. My website is intelligentluxurymagazine.com. Let's talk about books. Penguin Random House, Simon & Schuster, and HarperCollins. And then please visit Louis Vuitton site. Get up at any time during my show and go take a break. So please visit LouisVuittons.com, and that's why you can pause it after I film it. Bye. So let's talk about Embassy Suites Tampa. Can my friends reserve a hotel room for me so we can go to the Super Bowl and I can't pay? So I like this look. This is like the look of a model look. I like this look. So that's why my makeup has gold in it. I wear bronzer on my face sometimes. So I have a picture. I didn't want to say Kristen White girl, that's what I was mean, but then God must be crazy. That film. Anyway, let's move on from that film. Stephanie, don't make fun of people that don't know how to use. Let's talk about HBCUs right now. So I wanted all the commuters, was I supposed to say that? I want all the commuters to wear an HBCU shirt. So all the commuters wear HBCU apparel or accessory and show you why you love HBCU. If you didn't attend an HBCU, purchase HBCU apparel or an accessory product and wear it during the commute. So I have my Temple University shirt. It's a great shirt. Let me show. Oh, my dress. I didn't want to show it. So I've already showed it. We love Temple University apparel. It'd be nice to have a nice long dress with the Temple University name right on here. I wanted to talk about the FEI. I'm going to talk about all the companies like Bloomingdale's, Free People, Thank You, and TheNewYorkTimes.com and WallStreet.com. So you go to WSJ.com, and I'm a lifetime member of the NAACP. I am a member of the press, and I can talk about local branches, even though I think I have homes in several different places. It's false. I don't. I don't have homes in several different places. Hitler was a bad person. I like to watch documentaries because we have to be careful of letting bad people, evil people in power, who would discriminate against exterminating people based on looks and based on anything really without a proper court. Some people agree with execution. You have to not do that. So, the Fédération Equestre Internationale, that's FEI.org, and it's the governing body of a great organization that has events that have horses in the event. So you have Longgen as official partner. What if you're the brown large nose of a very smart few minority that attended excellent schools, and you go home and you have parents that are paying for you, that worked hard, that may not be able to read or write, and there might be fun. They may and learn more than they did because they had to speak in broken English in order to not be verbally or physically harassed. Verbally harassed or physically assaulted, right? This just got good. So let me get healthier by prayerfully going to the fitness center, taking time to do fitness, which means less time conducting research. So, but I still conduct research really well. So thank you, Lonnie Janess, and the top partner. The partner is ATPI Sports Events, maybe, Boehringer Ingelheim, Cavalier Horse Pilot, Jet Set Sports, Pendant Bloodstock, Global Equine Logistics, Pixio, and SAP. So, how can you help the equestrian community? Help the equestrian community. And they have Walid's mission from Morocco. So it's really, I like watching the Federation Equestrian International events on the equestrian channels. So you all can go to fei.org for more information about equestrian events sponsored by usually Lonnie, the official partner. I wanted to discuss the American entrepreneurs and executive events that I will produce. I produced one in the past with an organization, a nonprofit organization that has business owners who are mentors. And it's usually an organization that partners, called SCORE, and it's an organization that usually partners with a local university or college that has a small business center to help people with their small business. They usually have someone who owns the business, mentor someone, and start a business. So I read a book in the library about where to go to register your business, either with the state or your local government. And that's just something that you can learn at the library, where to go to register your business. If you need a specific type of license for your business, usually you can go to your local or state government. I wanted to read is Tuck Everlasting again. I thought that was an interesting book. So remember, my show's supposed to be long, so don't watch the whole show right now. I'm just kind of taping right now. So we talked about the NYC Accelerator. I like my show. I watched Charlie on PBS. Everyone knows about Charlie, and I like his show. It's nice and quiet and nice. So I kind of have a show similar to that. Just kind of, I'll be interviewing people later once I earn more revenue to safely interview them and to make sure what they say won't get them sued or me sued. Or is good, or is accurate, or is factual, or the facts. So that's why I'm waiting. Unless someone can prove that they consulted an attorney before they interviewed me. Let me interview them. So let's talk about the Mississippi official tour guide. Last night, I think I watched Pelican Brief by John Grisham. And he's from Mississippi. I wanted to know how many hours he studied in law school. What books did he like that were given to him told by the professors to read. And what books did he like in law school that he read in law school? That's what I wanted to say. What law books, law textbooks, or signed books about law. So Fashion Week is next week. What about fashion law at Fordham University? Maybe I can speak to someone at Fordham University about fashion law. I know during Fashion Week I interviewed Laquan Smith, and Laquan Smith is a man who I interviewed at a New York Public Library, and it was really interesting that he is someone who started his fashion collection in his home, and that was a New York Times reporter who reported about Mr. Laquan Smith, and then he now is a famous fashion designer. So remember that you can order the official tour guide from Mississippi from visitmississippi.org. So this is a beautiful bridge here. Oh, this is great. William Faulkner named a bridge for the Rowan tree, symbol of security and peace. And it's now maintained as a literary landmark by the University of Mississippi. Oh, this is great. And they have the Blues Trail, and they have a list of trail markers. I wonder if the local historical societies can see this. This is great. I think you can Google trail markers or historic markers, and you can find that. So let's talk about what I wanted to read, what I read yesterday. Let's talk about Night in Black and White. I use my mask as a bookmark, I would say. I kind of do that. I'm always trying to invent a bookmarker. I use the elastic bookmark. So, this book talks about slavery in Nyack, and it talks about the Underground Railroad in New York State, and has a map. Routes of fugitive slaves to Canada, known as probable routes. So, yeah. I'm only sexually attracted to men. I'm one of the men in Westchester that would date me, huh? Yeah, I'm married to Colby, right? It's a promotion. It's for publicity. So this ring is a great ring that I purchased from Central University. And always Mr. Latimer, the Westchester County Executive. And you can order this book if you Google Westchester County tourism. I'm saying Google because I like Google. It helps companies. It's so easy to have your own business on YouTube. You can have your own show on YouTube. And Westchester County Farm Trail, Hudson Valley region, go beyond the everyday, beyond expectation. And you can go to visitwestchesternewyork.com. This beautiful book, Edible Westchester, is great. So the New York Stewart International Airport is near Westchester, and you can go to visitswfny.com for more information. It's near Westchester. There's Allegiant, American, Delta, JetBlue, Norwegian, and independent helicopters. For Westchester County Tourism on Facebook, you can travel to Westchester County Tourism. On Twitter, Westchester Tour, and Westchester County Tourism New York, and Westchester County New York. This is a really interesting, it says that Westchester County has it all, nestled between the mighty Hudson River and the scenic Long Island Sound. I know that in Westchester there is a Biplanet, which is a local old amusement park. Great place to go. Great roller coasters, and you have to pay, I think, per ride. So I don't think it's free. And there's a beach, which is the Long Island Sound. So it's a great place to go. Actually, I don't know if you can wear masks on the line. That might be dangerous. Don't scream on the line, huh? They have different farms. If you want to book a hotel, go to visitwestchesternewyork.com. They have a how to use this map. They have different restaurants from farm to field to craft beverages and different hotels listed. Let's talk about the hotels in Westchester that you could stay in when you visit Westchester County. Bedford Post Inn, Bedford, the Castle Hotel and Spa in Tarrytown, the Ritz-Carlton, New York and Westchester. Maybe I can have a literary event there. Remember the Westchester Literary Tea, not hosted by me. I believe it's hosted by the Westchester County Library System. Beautiful libraries there, and the staff is beautiful. I always go. I used to work in a library. So I love promoting other libraries events. So I just kind of randomly tried to pick some of the libraries. So maybe I can, as I travel across the country, we can go. I love driving, and we love listening to music in the car. And we can go visit people. So the Ritz-Carlton, New York, Westchester. Or we can fly and drive. So fly and drive, with a car like Hertz or Enterprise. You know you can own those. It's a franchise. There's a franchise, one of the companies. The Abbey Inn and Spa and Apropos Restaurant in Peekskill. And you go there. Crabtree's Kiddo House and Inn in Chappaqua. Hilton, Westchester. And Tarrytown has to stay on the Hudson in Tarrytown. Westchester Marriott in Tarrytown. So let me read about the Ritz-Carlton, New York, Westchester, I think, which is a Marriott hotel. Centrally located in downtown White Plains. White Plains is a great place to shop. There's a Target and a Barnes & Noble. Still, maybe, I don't know. This soaring destination hotel offers modern luxury glamour and convenience. Look for chic suites, a rooftop pool, the Plus Synergy Spa. Synergy! Is this marketing synergy? And staggering views that reach from Long Island Sound to the Hudson River and beyond. Downstairs they have BLT steak impresses with boutique beef and a raw bar, gorgeous wines, and craft cocktails, while the lounge is ideal for fireside cocktails and small plates. So that's at ritzcarlton.com. You can learn more information about White Plains, which is in Westchester County. Craft cheese. This is great information. Westchester has always helped me with my events. And there was a chef from Westchester, and I always forget his name, and I always tell him I did. And I want him to contact me because I want him to cook. He's a good cook. So usually we have chefs at our literary events. They have teas. And the literary tea, Google that. It's a local event. So I don't know if I'm able to go. I want someone who's local to not be able to go to the literary tea. It's so great. I met the man. Let's play our press conference. So isn't this fun? Research. So I just said, everyone's like, oh, you do so much research. So let's go to youtube.com/the White House and listen to our press and take notes. So I'm a lifestyle reporter, and I love the Rockland Journal News lifestyle section. So that's why I say that I'm a lifestyle reporter. And my lifestyle is about beautiful people with a large percentage of face knows. What's up, Mom? I'm a winner. I'm a winner. So we're winners now. So let's talk about this. Can y'all hear the little the engine on my computer? I don't want it to stop. But the Hispanic caucus, they're watching that. There are other caucuses. So if you're a Democrat, I believe that you might be able to watch these other caucuses. So let's wait for Press Secretary McEnany. Hopefully praying for anyone that we saw in the news also named McEnany. Praying that they stop harassing neighbors. Did you see that on the news? I pray that if she's related to them, we're praying. We're praying. We're praying. Remember, when you have a home, you have to pay for extermination monthly. Is there a realtor that can Better Homes and Gardens, Sotheby's, Christie's auctions? Hey y'all, at Sotheby's auction that I met, and if they could give a list of expenses that, in addition to the mortgage, for people to know about it, exterminating the home weekly, maybe weekly. Oh. Because I think animals get on the roof and birds can drop animals on the roof, so you have to exterminate weekly. If you do that, you have to background check realtors and real estate agents. Sometimes they are, so the company can background check. Or maybe talk to a police officer, a chief of police. Who likes people. So we're waiting for McKenzie. Let's talk about Westchester. They gave me this great Westchester County Outdoor Adventure Guide, Hudson Valley region, hike, bike, and explore. So let me tell you where I want to go in Westchester County. I went to the falls and there was no falls. I went to the Quilton Dam. I think it was the Musical Dam. I was at the Musical Dam. So I know Kristen Walker, and I did email someone at the company. But I did not want to contact her because people told me not to, because I know she's busy. And we can meet next year sometime, maybe. Okay. I don't know anything about her other than that we met once. Let's just say that. We actually met more than once. We may have took a course. We love keep busy people, take free courses at libraries. Waiting for Press Secretary McEnany. So this press conference is delayed. Sailboat rentals, Quilton Sailing School. I want to go sailing, but I don't want to be like working a sail. I think I've already worked the sail. I think I learned how to work the sail. Yeah. Oh, I really want to go to Phillipsburg Manor and Lyndhurst. So Playman is in Rye, which is in Westchester County. They have kayak rentals, Hudson River Recreation, a guided tour to the Hudson River. Oh, I like that. And Long Island Sound. That's kayakhudson.com. Boat launching. Oh, that's scary. I don't want to go there. Scary. Please don't scare me with scariness because I'm scared. But other people, if you're not scared, go. Kai Hewitt, the Rockefeller Estate. That would be fun. Did they have slaves? The Rockefeller Center kind of food. Any place have slaves? The Hudson River Museum in Yonkers. I love Yonkers. Library by the river. I love Yonkers. And it's right by the train station, the Metro North. But, don't go during when people are commuting because, people have to go to work. So go after commute. Oh, Van Cortlandt Manor. Thomas Paine Cottage. Thomas Paine is the father of the American Revolution and the creator of the Human Rights Movement. Oh, that would be fun. Can you get married at Hewitt? I'm not gonna show the scary thing. Wait, this is Matt from my cartography show. So old exhibits, can we put old exhibits on the internet if you don't pay? You have to pay to keep old exhibits from museums. Oh, you know what should be in a museum? The IBM Nyack, the Historic Society of Nyack. You need a library to have the Historical Society? What if your place is too small to have a museum for all the people that want to know about the Nyack? We should make a Nyack. Tap in Nyack. Tap in Nyack all the time. We should make it the Historical Society of people who need history. Should we make it the Historical Society? I want to buy that IBM. That's a nice place. Have y'all had events? Anybody had events there? I want to have an event there. Tony Morse had an event there with the Piermont Library. Y'all ever know at Piermont? I used to work with the lady at the Piermont Library. So please tell the queen of this Society of Max that my garden probably failed maybe due to mold in the water. That's why we have to relocate. I said maybe. So it's fun being Stephanie. It's alright. Meet me in Westchester, New York. This is great. So, my website is intelligentmagazine.com. I didn't say that. So they have the Union Church of Pocantico Hills. That looks nice. Hello to all my Westchester churches that I met on Sundays. I like going to different churches, mosques, temples. The John Jay Homestead, Wintermeyer Park and Gardens in Yonkers. Everyone from Yonkers that want to say they're not from Yonkers. It's a joke. It's a joke from someone that stop saying you're not from where you are, people. I need my nails. You know what? I don't get fake nails anymore. I need more. I don't take my nails often because it chips during the day. So, what's something that do my nails? Laslin Park, Arbor Street. And then you have Phipps now. Glenview Mansion at the Hudson River Museum. That looks great. Are they open in the evening for people who work during the week and work on the weekends? Like the DMV should be open after 5 p.m. Oh, let's talk about Long Island Sound. It has 36 miles of shoreline with beaches and inlets. Oh, that's good. The Hudson River School, the famed painters. That sounds fun. Waiting for her secretary, Miss Emily. Let's talk about Westchester, the official travel guide and meeting guide. This is Doral Arrowwood. Doral Arrowwood at DORALWOOD.com. Oh, that looks like a nice meeting space. Metro North Getaways. See New York City, they wrote. Connecticut, Hudson Valley. See it on Metro North. And it has 120 stations, including Grand Central Terminal in Midtown Manhattan. And you go to mta.info/MNR.getaways. Let's wait for me. And you can take Amtrak to the Corleone station, no? And the Yonkers station, I didn't know that. Oh, service from New Rochelle along the Boston-Washington Northeast Corridor. Service from Croton on Hudson. I like Croton on Hudson. And Yonkers, they love Yonkers, to upstate New York, Montreal, Toronto, Rutland VT, connecting service to many other destinations in the Northeast, across the North America. Would I live in Yonkers? I probably would live near the library in the Metro North in Yonkers. They have apartments there. Are those nice apartments? I think they are luxury apartments. Is that a safe place to live? There's a police station there, so it must be safe. I love the profile. Oh, all the good-looking men of the Palisades Parkway police. I love them. Of any heights, of any color. And it's near the park. There's near the park? There's no park. The parkway. It's near the parkway. Let's talk about banquet halls. Oh, castles and mansions that we can have events in Westchester. Abigail Kirsch at Tappan Hill in Tarrytown. The Belvedere Estate. The James House Mansion in Sleepy Hollow. I think I'm all in Sleepy Hollow. I like Sleepy Hollow. Should I move to Sleepy Hollow? They have luxury apartments in Sleepy Hollow. I think I like Sleepy Hollow. I think I'd move to Sleepy Hollow. Prayerfully soon. Oh, you can have castles and mansions at CV Rich Mansion, you know? At Pace University, White Plains, Pleasantville, pace.edu, purchase.edu. I purchased. Do I want to go to Purchase? Maybe not. It's a great, but it doesn't have enough majors for me. I like to take a major in different schools and colleges. Okay. So maybe I would take a class at Fordham. Fordham.edu/Westchester. Capacity 100. Oh, that would be a good place to have a wedding. Oh, you can have an event in New Rochelle. At Vigo New Rock, 18 in Island. Hey girl, my coworker, we went to New Rochelle. And let me tell you, it's a great place. We were at a hotel and we worked. And we worked at a club. And that was interesting too. What do I say? They need to make background checks free, because sometimes you have to background check people that you meet who will talk to you. Oh God. Can y'all hear it? The Hispanic caucus? Are y'all watching the Hispanic caucus? Can you have an event at the Courtyard Yonkers, Westchester County? If you are having a wedding, can y'all hear? Can y'all hear the computer? Oh, so this is great. You can have a wedding at the Bedford Post Inn, your engagement 101 people, the Briarcliff Manor, Lyndhurst, Stone Barn Center for Food and Agriculture, Tappan Hill Mansion, Tarrytown House Estate on the Hudson, and Whitby Castle. And here. Oh, this is great. If you are from Chicago, it's a 13-hour drive to Westchester. If you are from Baltimore, it's 4 hours. Boston, 3 hours. Montreal, 6 hours. New York City, half an hour. Newark, 1 hour. Philadelphia, 3 hours. And Washington, D.C. Westchester County is 27 miles from LaGuardia, 37 miles from JFK, and 45 miles from Newark Liberty Airport. Hello, Golden Cross people at Newark and Stewart International. Let's listen to this man talk.
Appearance and visit the day after she won. It was a day or two after she won. Was coming to LA and visiting with Dreamers at an organization called JIDLA. And for those from California across the country, you know that JIDLA is one of the largest immigration organizations, advocacy civil rights organizations in the country. And her first decision was to stand in front of Dreamers and undocumented folks and tell them that she's going to have their back. She brought the press there. She met with Dreamers. She amplified their voices. And that's exactly who she is. That's why our community loves her, because she represents us and is one of us. And as an immigrant myself, I stood with her at that event. I saw the way she stood up to Donald Trump, who had also just been elected, and she continued to do so in her role in the U.S. Senate. Time and time again, she has stood with the Latinx community, and when we couldn't be more proud of her, like Latinos. And I think that includes all of us across the country. I want to add that we're living in this COVID-19 era and pandemic. We know that this disease is affecting our community harder than anybody else. There's a new report today just in the LA Times. There's been others in other publications across the country. We need Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to put and understand that as a community, como Latinos, we have also different needs. And to have people in place that are going to understand our culture, our community, and put an equity lens on the work that is happening in the White House is critically important. We know that issues that matter to us are not just about racial equity. They're not just about healthcare.
Yeah, Bloomingdale's White Plains in Westchester, so that's great. And I know how to travel to Bloomingdale's White Plains. So it's right there on the highway. It's easy to travel to. You have the Gallery at White Plains. I know how to drive there. And you have Jefferson Valley Mall. You have HomeSense and Verizon at Cortland Crossing. You have Marshall's, Home Depot, and Barnes & Noble at the Cortland Town Center. I've actually never been to the Cross County Shopping Center. And the Westchester. We love the Westchester, don't we? And you can go to simon.com/mall/the-Westchester. Franklin D. Roosevelt State Park. That's where I want to go. The park offers the largest pool in New York State parks and a capacity of 3,500. That looks like a good place to have an event. Oh, they have hiking trails. They have the Bear Cliff Peekskill Trailway. Horseback riding at Twin Lakes Farm. Empire City Casino. Is that a good place to have an event? I think it's a nice place to have an event, no? Background check people who attend. Do they do that at casinos? Should they? The Hilton Westchester? Did we talk about that? I know they do have a stage. But there's Mohegan Sun. And Michael's Jordan Steakhouse. Maybe I'll sing at the steakhouse. Y'all want to sing? The rock and roll band? Anybody want to join the rock and roll band? Monica Rich Coulson, you want to join the band? I'm joking. Rebecca Juniors. Mr. Sulzberger, you want to join the band? Y'all, I'm gonna watch Big Enemy. You can watch her. I need to talk about what I read last night. I read chapter 4 of Little Women. I was about to say, you know, you shouldn't say bad thing about people. Lexus, right? Lexus. Like Lexus. Anybody know anyone named Lexus? I don't. It's a beautiful name. Instead of my name Stephanie, I always wanted a really good, creative name. But my name was creative too. It's Stephanie. Well, I think I'm done for today. Because I read Little Women, and I read the chapter 4, and I finished the narrative of a Slave by Frederick Douglass. So isn't that good? So that's it. Little Women, narrative of a Slave Frederick Douglass. And I think I'm going to read Little Women again, and now I'm going to read a speech from Frederick Douglass and Green Gables. Thank you for watching. This is Michael Jordan. That's the thinking man. You know that art sculptor? Do you know that sculptor? Thank you for watching, Mom. Woo! You should drive across the nation, Mama. Oh, we should. You want to go live? No, yeah.